Alright, this is Uncle Jam back at it with another resource pack video. In this video, we are going to be covering connected textures, or CTM, which stands for Connected Textures Mod. Now, the Connected Textures Mod has been integrated into Optifine, so if you have Optifine installed into your game, you will be able to see these connected textures, and this will be a tutorial showing you how to do these textures. Now, there's plenty of methods, so I've decided to divide it into a 3-part video series. So there'll be 3 separate videos, and I'll give you a quick overview now of all of the methods. So the first method is the full CTM. This requires 47 tiles and is definitely the most customizable method. As you can see by this glass, it connects on all sides and makes one big fluent connection. So it looks like one big connected block. The next method is vertical, which connects vertically into pillars like this andesite. And then we have horizontal, which connects horizontally into horizontal pillars. We also have a combined vertical and horizontal, or horizontal and vertical. And depending on which one you take first, that one will take priority. So you can see vertical is first here, and vertical takes priority over horizontal. And this is chiseled stone brick. Next method we have is repeat, and as you can see, this is sand here. And there is a tile that is repeating over a large area. This doesn't look the best, but when you get a bigger tile, it can look really cool in your desert terrain. We also have the random method, which is similar to my episode I have made, which is vanilla and shows you how to integrate random textures, but this method uses CTM. There's also fixed, which is just a single tile and it will replace a single tile on any block. And there is the top method, and as you can see, the rim on the sandstone is only on the top of the block. And all these look like they're connected, and if I break this one, you can see the rim appears there. And finally we have compact CTM, which is a more compact version of the 47 tile method. It only requires 5 tiles, so this one is much easier to use and it has the same functionality. And there's one final method which I have out here, which is the overlay method. So as you can see, the grass is kind of overlaid onto the sandstone here and the gravel path. When you put it inside the grass, it looks a bit more natural. So that's that, and in this video we are going to be covering 2 of the methods, which are the full CTM and the compact CTM. So we'll start with the full CTM, so let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see, I have the methods we will be covering in this video highlighted on the side there. And there is a couple things you're going to need in order to implement these methods into the game. The first thing you need is your image files. And the second thing you need is a document to tell the game how to implement these image files. So to start off, we need to find a block we want to edit. So head into your resource pack folder. If you don't know how to get here, check out episode 1 in my series. Head into assets, into Minecraft, head into textures, and into blocks. Now find a block you want to edit. So for this video, I'm going to use the diamond block. So I'm going to copy it and I'm just going to paste it onto my desktop. So now that I've selected my block, we need to actually create multiple images for every time this is connected to an adjacent block. So there's a bunch of templates, and if you check the link below, you'll see all those templates and you can check them out for yourself. So I'll pull up the first template on the screen. And as you can see, we have a bunch of numbers and a bunch of green lines. Now don't be intimidated by this. It's not as complex as it may look. This is basically all of the images that you need to create for your connected texture mod to work. Now don't be alarmed by this method. 46 tiles is a lot of tiles, or I guess 47 because we have 0. And when we get into CTM Compact, you actually only need 5 tiles. So I definitely recommend that method, but I'm still going to show you how to do this one because there's a lot of possibilities with this method. Basically what you need to do is you need to take your diamond block texture Let me just open it up here for you. And as you can see, there is a border around the diamond block. Now what you need to do is, for every one of these textures, it shows you what the border should look like. So as you can see on 0, the border should be all the way fully around. So this texture would actually be our 0 texture. And number 1, the tile, we have to get rid of the border on the right hand side. So number 1 would have no border on the right. Number 2 would have no border on the right and left side. Number 3, no border on the left side. So as you can see, the images show you where all the borders should be. And you can see once you get to the right hand side of the image, the borders turn into little dots. Now that means you want the borders to be on the corners. Those are going to end up being corner pieces. So like, let's say for example, tile number 9, if you look at tile number 9, the top left hand corner, there has to be a 1 pixel of a border. The top right hand corner, there has to be 1 pixel of a border. And the bottom left hand corner, there has to be 1 pixel of a border. So this is a little complex, so let me just show you what I mean with some more images. Okay, so what I've done is I have found an old texture pack that used to work for an older Minecraft version online, and I've grabbed the textures they had for the diamond block. So let me open this up here. Now as you can see, they're numbered from 0 all the way down to 46. Now we can see what they've done here with their textures and use it as a good example. So for number 0 here, you can see, let me just pull it over to the side. For number 0, you can see the border is all the way around number 1, and it follows the image exactly as it is written over there. So let's go down to, some of these more complex ones. So image 32, you can see it looks like it's only connected on the bottom right hand corner. And if we check our image template, bottom right hand corner, you see the green dot. So that's how this image works. So it is a lot of work to create all of these textures, but once you have them all created, it can pay off. So now we have to create a text document in order to implement all of these textures into the game. So I'm going to use these as an example, and we will create a text document which will be updated to the current version of Minecraft, and will show you how to implement them into the game. Okay, so to start off, we need to open a text document. On Mac, I'm using textedit. On Windows, you can use Notepad. We want to make sure we make it a plain text, and if you're on a Mac, head into Preferences and change the encoding to Western Windows Latin 1. Now I'll pull an image up for all of the parameters. Now you can see these are the general parameters which are used by all of the methods. And now I will jump the image to the method, the CTM method, and you can see the parameters almost stay the exact same. So to start off, we're going to go through the required parameters. So you'll notice we have match tiles and match blocks. Now we need to decide which one we want to use for our diamond block here, because that little connection means we have to pick either or. So we either pick match tiles or match blocks, one or the other, not both, but one or the other. So let me explain what the difference is between match tiles and match blocks. The best way to do that is to head in game. So here I am in game. Now a block is the actual block ID of a given block. So let's say to find that, we need to push F3 and H. That will show you the advanced tooltips for the blocks. So we'll push F3 and H, make sure it's toggled to shown. And now when we highlight over blocks, you'll see next to the name we have a little number, which will tell you the block ID. So if we find the diamond block, you'll notice the ID is 57. Now one thing to note is, if the block you want to do CTM on has another number, such as sandstone here, which has 24 and then a slash and a 0, that 0 is actually the metadata value. So you're going to have to use the optional parameter metadata and type your equals and then type 0 or whatever number you see. I will cover that more in depth in the next tutorial, so stay tuned for that. Now let me explain what the tiles, match tiles parameter is. Basically, the block is the specified block ID. So if we use the furnace as an example, the furnace block ID is ID 61. Now that's great, but you'll notice that the furnace has different faces. This front face looks like so, the top face looks like this, and the side face and the back faces all look different. So the match tiles is actually going to point to the specific tile of an image. Now the name we use for the tile is going to be the name that comes straight from the default assets folder. So let me show you what I mean. So here is my resource pack pulled up, and we're going to head into assets, into Minecraft, into textures, and into blocks. Now you'll notice the furnace, all of the sides are right here in front of me. These are each tiles. So when you say match tiles, you can point to a specific tile. So if we wanted to just do CTM for the top tile, we would type match tiles furnace underscore top, the exact same name that comes from the default assets folder. So I will go over that in some later videos, and you'll get to see some examples of that. So we'll head back into our document. So for the diamond block, we want to use match blocks. So I'm going to type in match blocks with an equal sign. Now we need to put the block ID of the diamond block. So let's check what it is, and it is 57. So we put 57. Now we need to move on to our next required parameter, which is method. Now for this, I am showing the original CTM method. So we put method. Now tiles is our next option, and you'll see I have 47 in green next to it on my image. Now that means that there has to be 47 tiles in order for this method to work. They can be numbered anything you want, but there has to be 47 tiles. So as you can see, I'll head back into my diamond block folder. You can see that we have 46 tiles plus 0, which turns it to 47. So you notice my tiles are numbered from 0 to 46. So in my text document, I'm going to type 0 to 46. Those are the tiles we want the game to use. Now, let's say you have multiple blocks in the same folder. Maybe your tile image numbers start at 1 and go from 1 to 47. Or maybe they start at 100 and they go to 146. So it could be anything. There just has to be 47 tiles specified after this. So in my case, it's 0 to 46. So there we go. So we're going to save our document here. And we're going to title it anything we want .properties. So I'm just going to say diamond block .properties. There we go. And I'm going to change the encoding to Western Windows Latin 1. Now, if you are familiar with CTM method, you may notice that sometimes people name their things block, say 57.properties or block 57a.properties. Now, this method also works. However, I'm just going over using the match blocks and match tiles method. I'll go over the other method of naming in a future video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it, just follow the steps. Hit save, and you'll see we get our properties file on the desktop. Now I'm going to install it into my folder. Make sure you keep the document in the same folder as your images. This is crucial. Now we need to actually put our folder here, this is my folder just on my desktop, into our resource pack. So I'm going to head into my resource pack folder. So we'll head into demo pack. We will head into assets, into Minecraft. And now we need a folder called MC Patcher. You'll see I have a folder already created here called MC Patcher. If you don't have one, you just have to create a new folder in here and title it MC Patcher. No capitals or spaces. Let's head inside. And we need a new folder in here, which we are going to call CTM. Once again, Connected Textures Mod. So there we go. Now let's head inside. Now inside of this folder is where we want all of our documents and textures to go. So they can be organized in any subfolders you want. So I'm just going to keep my subfolder here and I'm just going to drop it straight into the folder. So you'll see inside of CTM we have diamond block, and inside of here we have all of our textures and our properties file. So let's head in game and see if it worked. So here I am back in game. Now make sure you install your pack correctly into the game. If you don't know how to do that, check out episode 1. And we'll reload our pack. And we will place down our diamond blocks. And as you can see, they're already starting to connect perfectly, just like we wanted. So you can see that it's already working. So that is how you set up the basic CTM method. Okay, so I'm going to go over the compact CTM method now. I'm going to save those optional parameters for the next episode. So let's get into the compact method. So as you can see on the image, there's one extra optional parameter that we can add. Now I'll go over that one because it's specific to this method. All those other general optional parameters, check out the next episode. So as you can see, I've created 5 images here for the iron block. Now these will match up to the compact CTM template that you can see on your screen. Now what we need to do is stick these in a folder and create a document once again. So I'm going to create a folder, we're going to call it iron block, and I will stick them inside. Now let's open up a new document. We will format it correctly, and we will start off with match blocks. Now let's head in game to figure out the block ID of the iron ingot, or the iron block, sorry. And we'll see it's 42. Now remember, if you can't see those numbers, click F3 and H. So there's 42. The method is compact CTM, or should I say CTM underscore compact. And the tiles we want to use are going to be 0 to 4. Now that's all we need to specify, so let's save our document. I'll call it ironblock.properties. There we go, make sure it's .properties. Change the format if you're on a Mac to Western Windows Latin 1. If you're on a Windows, you're all good. And we will click save. There it is. We will install it into our folder. And now we need to install this folder into our pack. We are back in our pack folder. We'll head into assets, into Minecraft, into MC Patcher, into CTM, and we will just drop our folder in here. Now let's head in game and see if it worked. So here we are back in game. I'm going to reload the pack. And right away you can see our iron block is connected, and it looks just as good as this diamond block, if not better. And it's using the compact CTM method. Now their one restriction with this is you only do supply 5 tiles. Now for some people that may not be an issue, but for others who want to create more complex, specific textures, it may be an issue. So there is that last optional parameter, which I will now show you how to use. Okay, so let's go over ctm.ctmindex equals tile index. What this means is, from the original 47 tile CTM method, you can specify any one of those tiles to appear in your new CTM compact folder. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to open up this default iron ingot here with an image editing software. Now I'm going to create this to look like tile number 13 from the CTM template. So let me do that. So as you can see, I've created it to look like tile number 13. And now I'm going to just distinguish it from the rest of the tiles. So I will add a green cross X right across it, just for visual purpose. So now let's export our image PNG file, and I'm going to call it image number 5, and we'll export it. There it is on our desktop. And now we're going to install it into our iron block folder. So what this is going to do is, when this texture is supposed to be displayed, it's going to display this texture, as opposed to combining some of these to create this texture. It's a little hard to explain, but basically this is going to display for CTM tile number 13, even though we're using the compact CTM method. So let's head into our properties file, and now we need to add in our new parameter. So CTM dot, and now since we want it to display for tile 13 on the original 46-way method, we'll put 13, and it's going to equal tile number 5. Now that seems like it should work. However, in this document, we're specifying only use tiles 0 to 4. So we need to change this to use tiles 0 to 5 as well. Now let's save our document and head in the game and see if this worked. So what it's going to do is it's going to use the compact method, but when tile number 13 from the original method is supposed to show up, it's going to display tile number 5. So let's head in game. Here we are in game. Reload the pack. And you can't see any differences, and that's because we don't have any time where tile number 13 is supposed to be displayed. So if I create a little box like so, you'll see that our green cross displays there. That's when tile number 13 gets displayed. If I break that, it doesn't, and you can see that it works perfectly. So that's how you use that method. Now you could create multiple of those tile index properties to create a bit of a more compact CTM file. So I think that method is definitely the way to go for these default methods. Now in the next video, I'm going to go over those optional parameters as well as the rest of the methods, and it may cross over into another video. So stay tuned for those. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next time.